one cares.
They do care. Welcome to the ugly truth.
Immediately awkward. I'm like,
You're back. Oh my God. No one cares. Yes, they care. They care. They care that you're back. I care that you're back.
well, I know you care. I'm back.
Oh my God. I mean, look here. I do like doing shows with producer
Yeah.
with Daryl. They're just a different vibe.
Yeah, totally.
It's just very different. Here's the difference between you and Daryl. Our shows are great, but you and I can actually like riff. We can actually like if I say something funny, you'll say something funnier.
Well, right.
Whereas he doesn't.
We are the same human.
I'm
almost.
wondering if he just doesn't have the same sarcastic humor I do. Like if I go really dark with humor, you know it. Like immediately, and you'll say something, and it's funny. Whereas Daryl's just like, well, I don't know if we needed to go down that road. And I'm like, what? This isn't therapy.
We have the same sadistic sense of humor.
Okay, so I posted on social media, on my private social media, I posted a picture of a video of Krampus. There's a Krampus parade that they do in Europe.
Okay.
And these, if you don't know what a Krampus is, they look like Yetis and Bigfoots with devil horns, and they're scary.
Oh, okay.
They're pre-Christianity because
Are they people in costumes?
Yes.
Okay.
And the basic premise of a Krampus is the opposite of Santa Claus.
Okay.
And they didn't call it Santa Claus back then. Obviously, it was something else. It was like Saint Nicholas or whatever it was. But this is all predates Christmas, official Christmas. So Krampus would go around and hit children with birch branches if they were bad.
Okay.
That's the whole point of them. It's like during the winter, they're like, you're a bad kid. Whack. And they're scary looking. And that's the whole point.
It's like the total opposite of Christmas in every way.
Yes. And that's the point. It's like if you're bad, you'll be punished by a scary monster with this birch branch.
Okay.
And so now they redo the tradition in Europe, like Sweden and the Netherlands all the time, because it's hilarious and it's dark and people are like, yay, anti-Christmas, you know, it's because it's just more realistic. You know, the kids are brats, whack, you know, it's wonderful. And they hit people with the branches and it's funny.
It's wonderful.
So I posted the video because I thought it was hilarious.
Of course.
And someone
That's right up your alley.
I'm not blood related to this person in any way. And they're like, I don't really know what your belief system is, but this is satanic and you need the Lord. And I'm like,
oh my God.
When I tell you that it took every ounce of my control not to continue posting satanic, true satanic. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to do it.
Don't do it.
Because this is what she wants.
Exactly.
Or something.
Oh, for sure. They were hoping for a reaction.
And I'm like, I'm not going to allow it.
I don't understand people like that.
Because I started laughing and I'm like, oh, you have seen nothing yet.
Right?
And I'm like, wait. And I'm like, but why do I like the Krampus stuff? Why do I like the dark stuff? I'm like, because I am dark.
You've always been that way.
I am quite dark. And so I told Daryl, we were in the car and I go, I've decided something. And he goes, what?
It's always in the car when you have these epiphanies.
No. Well, he always goes, because I'm always staring off somewhere. He's like, what are you thinking about it? Well, I've decided something. And I'm like, what have you decided? I'm like, I've decided I'm leaning into my darkness. And he's like, what does that mean? I go, well, I'm not sure yet, but I've decided that I'm going to just really lean into my darkness.
I'm going to fully embrace it.
I'm just going to embrace it now. I'm not a goth or anything like that, but just, I'm going to embrace it.
Even if you were, we don't have to define it, do we?
No, we don't. No, I don't have any black lipstick or anything.
It doesn't need a title.
No.
I do. I love my black lipstick. It's not black. It's almost black.
You?
It's like the darkest burgundy known to man. People mistake it for black. It's so dark. And I rarely wear it. I do it when I'm like having like a Johnny Cash day where I wear everything is black.
Wearing my black turtleneck today.
Yes.
Watch out.
Yep.
I was looking at some holiday like clothes because I'm like, we got invited to a party. With that being said, I'm like, well, I need to find a nice holiday New Year's Eve outfit. And the clothes that I think I want to wear, I don't think I would look good in, and I hate that.
Well, they look good on the internet.
They look good on someone who's 90 pounds.
Right?
But it's like one day I would love to be able to wear like a tight black, shirt or turtlenecky thing with a big floof dress, skirt.
You could wear that
with a bun, but I know what I would look like, and it wouldn't be like the lady
Gru from the Minions.
They'll be like, "Why is your hair in a bun?
Skinny legs.
Did you forget to wash your hair today?" I'll look like a school marm. I won't look like I'll look like the old lady in the shoe.
I know what you mean because I did that last year. So this year,
and then you see yourself in a picture, and you're like, "Oh my god."
I know, right? I decided this year that I was going to
wear.
I was going to get a mohair sweater.
Oh, itchy.
And wear it with like a pair of like leggings, like
that'd be
faux
very
suede
pretty.
or something.
Very pretty.
I could not. Why is it expensive? I couldn't find one for like less than $300. I was like, oh my god! I want fake mohair. Fine. I'm like, it doesn't have to be the real thing.
Faux.
I just want that fuzzy look. You know, I wanted to wear a black fuzzy sweater with some leggings.
I know
and
exactly
heels.
what you're thinking.
Casual kind of, but it was because it was a work thing.
Yeah.
You know. I could not find it to save my life. I was
hate
so
that.
angry. So I ended up wearing what I wore to work that day.
You look so nice. I saw you earlier today.
Right? Exactly. It was too, because I had meetings that day and I was like,
wow.
I don't even care.
All right.
But anyway.
So obviously a lot transpired. Well, I mean, just life.
Kind of, sort of, yeah.
And I keep you up to date on the important things.
Mostly,
but
yeah.
I did not tell you, and no one really knows, we went to Vegas.
Yes.
Daryl and I did. And the reason that we went was a year ago, we bought tickets to see George Strait and Chris Stapleton in Vegas. And it was at Allegiant Stadium, which is the home of the Raiders.
Where the Raiders play, yes.
I remember he goes, hey, George Strait's coming to Vegas next year. Do you want to go? And I'm like, yeah. So he bought these great seats. They were not ridiculously expensive at the time. We got them for face value.
You got them so long ago.
Yeah. So it's the day of the flight, and Daryl gets a text message, and he goes, this is Saturday morning. He goes, well, apparently they're building a new parking garage at the Sacramento airport. So there's the parking garage and then the daily parking, and then there's tons of overflow. There's a west and an east overflow parking. Yeah. If you don't get there in time, then you have to take a bus from the overflow to get to the airport. We're like, okay, fine. I said, do you think we're going to have to take the bus to the airport? He goes, yes. So we left early. Yeah. We absolutely had to park in the overflow parking. We're waiting, and I'm standing at a bus stop, and I'm like, I don't belong here. He's like,
but that's the thing about those. Everybody has to go to.
You are humbled. Everyone is equal.
And you're all dragging your luggage.
Yep.
And it's freezing, and you're under this little bus stop thing, waiting for the shuttle. And you can see it in the distance, and you're like, hurry up!
Yes. Oh so we get on the plane, and here's the thing about Vegas. I don't know if you've ever flown to Vegas, and it's how long it's been.
A long time.
It's been a long time for me too. So I'm sitting on the plane, and what you realize is everyone's excited. It's loud. There's
oh God, people are partying away.
Everybody's so excited. They're on their way, and so we land. Everybody's like, "Yay!" And so we get off, and there is the National Rodeo is going on. The week that we're there,
right?
There's a UFC fight going on that weekend, and then the George Strait concert.
Wow,
with
what a
Stapleton.
Mix of crowd.
So not only was there a sea of cowboy hats everywhere you went, man, woman, child, there was also a lot of athletes looking people. I thought of you immediately because I'm like, we would be like rating men for days.
Oh my God, Jamie, I would have loved to.
Not only were there the cowboy guys, but then there were the oil tycoon-y cowboy guys.
God.
In lovely...
I should have gotten fit in your backpack.
Tom Ford suits with their cowboy hat. And very attractive men. But there were I was telling Daryl, actually, I said, what's really interesting is by the end of the weekend, a cowboy hat just looks like a baseball hat. Pretty soon you're just like, it's a nice hat, but you're ugly. I can see it. I don't think that hat's doing nothing for me. Yeah. Maybe in a bar, some woman who's not used to cowboys would find you attractive, but then she'd wake up in the morning. She's like, oh,
yeah, no,
put your hat back on, please.
Right.
Yeah. You can kind of root it out.
Right.
But you can definitely see the money. You can definitely see who's a rodeo person.
I kind of wonder if Vegas just is like that now because there's always something going on in Vegas.
It was absolute madness.
Yeah.
And so I thought, foolishly, that the Four Seasons was its own hotel. I thought there was going to be, just
like a regular Four Seasons.
Yeah.
Like any property that you...
So we get dropped off. I'm like, okay, this is the front of the Four Seasons. We walk in. It's nice.
It better be.
The display... Well, first of all, I told you this. It was the most affordable Four Seasons I'd ever seen in my life.
It does not have a casino, no?
There's no casino and no smoking.
Right.
There's a restaurant, a pool, and a small bar, but that's it.
Yeah. So you're staying at the Four Seasons because you don't want to be a part of any of those things.
We don't gamble.
Anybody, I mean.
And there's no smoking. And those two things are pretty high on my list as far as, that's why I like the Aria because there's smoking, you would never know it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But this is so close to the Allegiant, so close to the stadium that we're like, this is definitely the place.
Yeah.
So we check in, nothing's ready yet, so we decide to go have a bite.
In the morning?
Yeah, we got there at like 11.
Yeah.
And nothing was, and they were trying to upgrade us, and they're like,
so that you could check in?
Yeah, they're like, well, you can check in. It's a bigger place. It's $200 more, but you don't have stadium view. We're like, no, to all of those things.
Yeah.
None. So we go and we walk into the restaurant, and there's the brunch buffet is happening, and it's right when you walk in. So there's all these people going, did you put onions in my omelet? And I'm like, I didn't know the Four Seasons did buffets where you can get your omelet cooked. Interesting.
I guess in Vegas they do.
So we go sit outside, and I noticed pretty quickly that the employees are exhausted. No one's really wearing the same uniform. And I'm like, okay, this is not
your typical Four Seasons
this
property.
is a little different.
Yeah.
The pool is very small, and it's right by everybody's table. So, like, if I wanted to go swimming...
No, absolutely not.
And Daryl and I were dumb and brought our bathing suits thinking we might.
And then you saw this, and you're like, oh, hell no.
I'm like, oh, yeah, sure, I'm going to swim up. How's the mimosa? Like, right there.
How are your hash browns?
Delicious, right? Did you like the cauliflower? Me too. No. Food was great, but the people were like super duper nice. I mean, the service, as far as the humans, were great, but I could see that this was not the same.
Right. This
thing.
This wasn't a Wahoo. Yeah.
No. So we finally get our room. The room's lovely. We go in, but I'm starting to notice some things that, I'm like, well, first of all, every fancy hotel, and I'm sure you've seen like the Fairmont on the news.
Yeah.
The gingerbread house displays.
Oh, the Christmas display?
The Christmas displays are over the top. Not here.
Really?
No.
Disappointing.
So when you walk in, they have a gingerbread village that their pastry team built. It was so terrible. And I'm like, this is absolutely, it's sloppy. You could see like finger marks on the gingerbread.
Oh, for God's sake.
And I'm like, what? The leaves were falling off some of their trees.
Like, what is happening?
So I took pictures and I sent it to my daughter, who's a pastry chef. I said, what do you think? She goes, well, that's very sloppy work. And I'm like, thank you, right? This is the Four Seasons. This is the first thing you see when you walk in the door. And she's like, oh, wow. And I said, I had to do a full rotation of the table, though, because I said, hold on. What if they like let children make this? Or what if it's like
there's a sign that says this came from the Shriners' children.
Special needs or ill kids or like, oh, our children, the Shriners' children in Vegas
this was donated by the old people's home down the street.
The kids did this for charity or whatever. We paid $1 million for it. I didn't know. And I'm like, oh, wait, I feel bad. Hold on. And I'm looking like, nope. This is just them. I'm like, okay, fine. You know what? I didn't know that it was attached to anything at this point. Still, I had no idea.
What's it attached to?
So we go to our room. We're like, okay, let's get ready. It's time to go to the show. We're so excited. And they told us, they're like, yo, you can't Uber there. You got to walk. And the reason is they close all the roads when there's an event. Oh. So the bridge.
That makes sense.
The bridge over the freeway. Yeah. So the bridge over the freeway is completely blocked off, and that's how people walk. And it's a huge walkway. It's a 15-minute walk. No biggie. God. We're like, okay, fine. We already knew that you couldn't bring like bags. You had to bring either clear or nothing. Right. I brought nothing. I brought my phone and my tiny little wallet for ID. That was it. And so we walk. All these women in heels and huge bags are like, God damn it. And they're hiking back. But when we get to the entry or the exit to leave, we're like, how do we get to Allegiant from here? And the guy goes, he's like, go back to the elevator, hit C. You'll end up in a casino, and then just walk through the casino, and you'll be at the bridge, and you just walk over and you'll be there. That's why it's only 15 minutes. Oh. Everybody else was complaining about how they had to walk all the way around the city block to get to the bridge. I'm like, how come no one asks questions? So, and Daryl's like, okay, so we go this way or that way. And I'm like, no, come with me, sir. And so we go down to the casino level, and it's the Mandalay Bay. Oh. And I'm like, okay. So Four Seasons took a section of the Mandalay Bay and turned it into their hotel.
Oh, no wonder.
Yes, exactly.
Not shit, but you know.
Right. You and I are on the same wavelength. You're like, exactly.
I could have just stayed there and probably saved $200.
A lot more, I'm sure.
Oh, but see, that would piss me off.
But it was still nice.
No, I'm not saying it wasn't.
But there was like a Hard Rock Cafe. I mean, there's like showrooms. Like, I had no idea we were in the Mandalay Bay.
Lesson learned.
So we walk, had a great time. George Strait has not lost anything.
Really?
He's 72 years old.
Oh, that's not that old anymore.
No, but he's 72, and Stephanie, he's so attractive.
I know, huh?
Still.
I swear I must have seen clips from the show because
he came out and
he's not in a residency there, is he?
No.
He was just doing a show.
He did 7 shows this year and Vegas was his last show. And I know obviously now because it's a rodeo and he was a rodeo.
Of course.
He's a rodeo guy.
Yeah.
And so he's like, my people. And I'm all, right. Yeah. And now he did the song that I kept singing for the whole weekend was "Sing a Song About the Heartland" because it was so good. And then he ended it with the chair. We love the chair, Stephanie. It was so good. And he did Cheyenne. I don't know if you remember that song.
Yes.
God, I was palpitating. It was so
God, so good.
And then it was a dual. I would never say that Chris Stapleton opened for George Strait. He would say he opened for George Strait, right. But he did a whole concert. He did a full 90-minute show.
Awesome. And
his wife is stunning. Chris Stapleton's wife.
Who is he married to? Anybody?
No.
Some lady that was stunning.
She was a singer-songwriter. That's how they met.
Oh, okay.
But she's fabulous. So beautiful. And so they do all their songs. Apparently he has stage fright a little bit.
Oh.
So whenever he's having a thing, he turns and looks at her. And he sings to her. And he did that off and on through the whole night. And he sang every hit. He did it. He was just he did some Leonard Skinner at the end.
So that must have been a long show.
It was a very long night. No complaining. It went quickly.
But
so when George Strait came out, he's like, well,
is it a sit down show? So where you have a table and stuff?
No. It was at Allegiant. 40,000 people were there. It was huge. There was no room. It was so packed.
Oh my God.
So Daryl, when he bought the tickets, he bought club level.
Yeah.
So that we were elevated up, but we're close. We still weren't that close. But there were so many screens, you could see everything. But I was like, God, these seats on the map look like you're super duper close. But you're definitely
it's so
not.
huge though.
It's so big in there. You have no idea.
God,
it's
I'm dying to go to a
basically,
game there.
it's 50-yard line. And I told Daryl, I said, if we were here for a game, these seats would be, perfect.
Right? Well, now you know.
Yeah, and they're close to the bottom, so you would see everything.
Yeah.
And we saw the torch. It is
so exciting.
Stephanie, there's no doubt that it's the Raiders' home. No doubt. It is fully Raiders.
Yay.
So he bought
That's
club
just a
level
bonus.
seats. So there were so many people. Like there was a 2-hour wait for merch. Like it was insane.
God.
So we're weaving our way through. He's like, oh, we're on this side. So we walk over. He goes, oh, wait. He goes, I bought club level seats. He didn't realize. And I go, well, what does that mean? Well, we had our own separate entrance. We had our own separate bar, restaurant. There was a couch lounge area where everybody could just sit. And I'm like, this is the life. Are you kidding me? It was amazing.
Worth every penny, I'm sure.
Yes. And so our own bathroom.
Oh, God. I would pay for the bathroom alone.
Well, I walked in and there was never anyone in there.
Perfect.
Stephanie, that was worth the price alone.
I'm telling you, I'll pay for a bathroom.
And it wasn't even that much. It literally was not that much money.
Yeah, well, because you guys got them so long ago.
Because we got them a year ago. And there was a time, because Daryl goes, these seats are going up in value. Like people are trying to sell them. And I said, well, how much? Well, how much? He goes, well, right now they're $5,000 each.
Holy shit.
Or almost, no, $5,000 total. And I said, if these things go to $10,000, you have to sell them. He goes, you won't see George Strait. And I'm like, honey,
$10,000?
That's life-changing money, right? Come on. He's like, all right, fine. But they never did. They started going down towards as they got closer because people stopped.
I'm glad you went.
Me too. I didn't want to sell them. I know
you didn't. I would have been really but I get it. That's a lot of money.
But we had so much fun, and then we walk. Then you have to walk back.
Yeah.
So we actually left a smidge early. We left our seats a smidge early so that we could buy some merch. So we bought some shirts.
Good.
And then we walked back to our hotel, and it was like midnight.
Ugh.
And so we were really cold.
I'm so old
and tired. And I'm like, do we want to because we've been drinking off and on all day, basically.
Yeah.
I go, do we want to go back down? Do you want to do it? And I'm like, I don't. I'm done. We traveled all day. I'm tired. And we walked 5 miles.
Well, plus you still had another whole day. If you had to go home the next day, I probably would have been like, let's just live it up.
Let's just go. Yeah, absolutely.
You had another day.
And, the thing with the Four Seasons, everything's closed. Everything's done. We're like, okay. So Daryl's like, well, we haven't eaten anything since 11 o'clock this morning. And I said, you're right. And I go, you want to get room service? He goes, yeah, let's get room service. Yes. And so they're like, well, we're so busy that your food won't get to you till a little after 1 a.m. So we're laying there like comatose. And
trying
all of a sudden,
the
guy shows up and we got our food and we inhaled it.
Well, hell yeah.
As if I didn't even think I was hungry.
Well,
God, it was insane.
Well, you hadn't eaten in 14 hours.
I know. So we wake up the next day. We are hungry, obviously. And so we're like, well, where are we going to go? It's Sunday. We can go brunch. We can literally go anywhere.
Oh my gosh.
Vegas.
Yeah.
So there was a little French place in the Paris hotel that we've heard so many good things about. Well, it's completely booked. You can't get in.
Oh.
And this is because of the rodeo and the UFC. We didn't think about that at all. So I said, okay. I think we should go to the Peppermill.
Oh, God, yes.
And he goes,
I didn't even know they still had one there.
It's the original.
Or the Bellagio. They're world famous
so
for their brunch.
We went to the Peppermill, and it's in the seedy part of town now. That
it's
place
was strip.
It was well over an hour wait.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
So we walk in, and first of all, all the wait staff, Raider gear. Everybody's wearing Raiders gear. Awesome. So we walk in. Daryl M, party of two. And I'm like, can we go to the Fireside Lounge? The iconic Fireside Lounge.
Oh my God.
So they're like, yeah, absolutely. We have microphones. You'll hear us. We're like, okay. So we go in. We sit down in the purple velvet couch.
Is it a bar at least?
Yeah, it's huge.
I mean, where you're sitting and waiting for your table, can you drink?
Yes.
Okay.
So
then I'm good.
The girl comes over. She goes, what can I get you? And I'm like, I'll have a mimosa. He had Bloody
Mary, of course.
Everybody's sitting around. There's football games on everywhere. So we ended up in there for like an hour and a half. So we're pseudo hammered. And finally we hear Darrell M. Darrell M. And I'm like, I think that's you, buddy. And he goes, really? And I go, yeah. So we get up and I walk to the hostess and I'm like, 2 for Darrell. And she looks at the other hostess and she goes, I told you that's how you pronounced that. And I said, actually, it's Daryl. And the other girl goes, ha! And I said, but everybody thinks he's a large black man because of his name. And they start laughing. And then Daryl, hey, what's going on?
Here comes. He couldn't be further from a large black man.
No, he's the opposite.
How funny.
So anyway, so we sit down and the Peppermill omelet is on the menu.
Oh, God.
It's never on the menu.
Right?
It wasn't here in Sacramento. They had taken it off the menu. So ordered the Peppermill omelet. Stephanie, that thing was the size of a loaf of bread. It was so big. But we're having a grand old time. They have the multicolored sugar, all the old school stuff.
Oh, my God. I miss all that.
Right? And so we're sitting there, we're having a grand old time. And then this skinny little woman comes over and she goes, excuse me. She's like, would you like a photo to commemorate your visit at the Peppermill?
They're only $25.
And Daryl goes, yes.
Oh my God.
So he puts his arm, he's all,
why don't you buy a fake rose out of the basket while you're at it?
So we smile and I'm like, really? So I'm all, And so she leaves and then we're wrapping it up. We get our check and she comes back and she goes, here's your free one. And she goes, and if you would like these, 2 for $35. And it's like,
holy shit.
It's like a close up of us. I'm like, immediately, no, destroy those. Absolutely destroy those. Fire.
Put them in the fireplace where we just came from.
Like, I'm exhausted. I have bags under my eyes. Get those away from me.
Oh, God.
Jesus. So anyway, he's like, I think it's great.
Of course he does.
He did not buy them. We did not buy them.
You could be in the ICU, Jamie, and he'd be like, you look beautiful.
I'd slap him with my tongue. Whatever.
Well, I'm glad they gave you one for free. That's shocking. I didn't think anything would be free.
I'm going
honestly.
I will show it to you. I don't have it with me currently, but I did bring it because God forbid I don't want someone to find it.
Oh my God, that's funny.
So then then to wrap it up, we did go to the Golden Steer Steakhouse.
Yeah.
It also we had a reservation for 8:30. We did not get seated until almost 9:30.
I had to look on YouTube after you told me where you were going, and I watched a bunch of review videos.
Yes.
So I knew what it was like, and I knew what you were walking into. I'm like, oh, this is nothing like they usually do, but it'll still be fun.
It was so fun. It was so iconic. Very old school steakhouse. The steak, Stephanie, the steak made my mouth water. I mean, it was so good.
Oh my God. What did you get?
I got the New York bone-in New York.
Oh, really?
Which is what they suggested. They're like, we literally get this meat from like literally down the road and we cut it ourselves. And this is what I suggest. Daryl got like a porterhouse or something.
Oh yeah, those are yum.
And those are or ribeye, I think actually.
Ribeyes are mine
was way better.
Oh really?
Way better. Yes, it was so good. It was so good. And so then we had like their whipped potatoes and mushrooms and bread. And
did you get the spinach?
No, but we did get the tableside Caesar. It was really, really good, except that every once in a while I got a bite of anchovy, and I did not like that.
You don't like anchovy?
I don't mind it, but I don't like getting like one bite of it. I'm like, why am I tasting fish suddenly? I didn't like that part, but it was very, very good.
That, of course, I can eat a whole tin of anchovies by themselves.
Well, that's good
I'm
for you.
Disgusting.
That's fine, you sickening person.
I know. I'm so gross.
I don't know why. I don't mind.
It's a very, very distinct, and either you like it or you tolerate it.
I tolerate it. I don't mind fishy, but
it's so strong.
But it was very strong to me.
And they're so salty.
And I'm really surprised that I tasted it at all, to be fair.
Well, normally
I watched them mix the crap out of it.
Yeah, usually it should be.
But there must have been a chunk.
I don't know
because
why
I got it.
Like an anchovy paste, but whatever.
Yeah, no, they make it all right there for you. And they show you all the steps, and they put like a ton of Tabasco in it, which is super good.
Yeah.
It was really nice. It had a bite.
Tabasco.
Oh yeah, it was really, really good.
Interesting.
Anyway, so yeah, it was an amazing evening. And then we went home, woke up the next day, and Daryl goes, yeah, it looks like Southwest Belt for their luggage is broken, so we have to go early. When I tell you we show up and there were 700 people in line waiting to check their bags. And of course, we had to check our bags. We couldn't even carry them on if we wanted to. So we have to wait in this long ass line. It took us about 35, 40 minutes, which isn't bad.
No, that's not bad considering.
So we walk in and there's another long line to get to the gates, the Southwest gates. And we're like, why do we have to get in this line? Like, this is dumb. And so the lady's like, all right, la, la, la. And we're like, there's other airlines here. How do you get to the C gate? And she's like, oh, you can just go up the escalator if you want. We're like, bye.
Because it goes all the way through, like
Literally,
no matter where.
Everybody, and he's all, lemmings. And then we just go up the escalator with these two other guys. We're like, I don't know what that is, but that's not necessary.
Cheap is what it is. They just follow because they're like, well, I guess this is where we go.
Stupid.
I've done that too.
You initially think, oh, they're directing us, but they're not.
No.
Not at all. So we go up, we go through, and we get everything done. We sit at our gate, and all is well. We get on the plane. Every motherfucker in there was coughing.
Oh, for God's sake.
And I was furious. And I'm like, I swear to God.
Mask?
I swear. I don't have, and I thought about it. I'm like, you know what? This is what I get for not having an emergency mask when I travel because I never do.
You must have one.
Apparently I do. And I
would too, because you never know when someone's going to puke on the plane or do something.
And there was one screaming toddler, which I actually don't mind the screaming kids because I have earphones. So I can just put the earphones on. You know, I don't care.
Yeah.
Kids cry. It sucks.
It sucks.
Traveling in O2 with a child is hell. I wouldn't want to do it. But you do it. You know. I mean, it's harmful.
Well, I have the utmost sympathy for women or anyone who has to travel with a child.
I agree. It's hard.
Nobody wants them to scream and cry. It's your worst nightmare.
Of course. It's when you think you won't, you're like, I understand why people drug their children.
Yeah.
On planes. Because it's like, it's their little ears and stuff.
It's so
and
many
they can't
things.
be free.
Most likely that person was like a stop from wherever they were coming from.
And it was a connection, actually.
Right? Yes. Well, Vegas is a huge connection for a lot of places. So by the time the child gets there, they've been traveling already. They're tired. Yeah. You know, it's just not good.
Anyway, the hacking wasn't.
I
was getting visibly angry. I'm like, this is why people get videoed, because they can't control their anger. Because I can feel it. If I was any other person, I'd be like, all of you, stop it! I can't take it anymore. It's a 50-minute flight, and I've lost my mind.
Well, thank God it's a short flight.
I put my earphones on, and so I had them on the whole time.
Like by the time you take off and you get comfortable, you're landing.
Yes. So I took off my earphones. We had like 10 minutes before we landed. I'm like, still with this. Does no one have a Socrates? God, get some water.
Or like mother, she has a Ricola. The worst cough drops on the planet.
Ricola.
She always had one. Here,
have a Ricola.
And you're like, why do you always have a Ricola? They're so awful.
Old ladies are supposed to have Rolos.
There's 6,000 brands on the market, and you buy a Ricola.
A yellow one too. Not even a purple one.
They're gross.
That's so true.
They make your breath smell worse.
I was so glad to be home, though. Vegas is always a whirlwind. It never feels like relaxing. It always feels like there's something.
Well,
you know
what I mean? Very busy.
Everything.
What do they call it the city that never sleeps?
So overwhelming. You know, you're just like, wow, I'm so tired.
It's so stimulus.
It's very
overstimulating. Constantly something to look at or do or go.
But we had so much fun. The only thing I will say, the Mandalay Bay smells like sunscreen constantly.
Really?
We walked out, I'm like, why does it smell like sunscreen? He goes, well, you know they have a really big pool somewhere. I'm like, that's not it. They pipe that shit in.
Maybe.
It smells like sunscreen.
Maybe it's so that you don't smell the smoke.
I don't know, but I was over it.
Or the moldy carpet.
We didn't see anything embarrassing. We saw no throwing up, no fights.
Okay. No drunken girls toppling over in heels.
No, I was really disappointed. I wanted something. I got nothing. Nothing.
Oh, I would love for us to go there one of these days. It's such a short trip. It'd be fun for us to go. And but we can never go and see a game because our spouses would kill us. Like we cannot go.
Oh, Daryl would not miss that.
Exactly.
Anyway, well, welcome back, Ugg. It's been such a dry time.
I've been going through it.
It's okay. This is what it's all about, right?
I know.
I love it. Anyway, all right. Well, thank you, everybody. We'll be back next week with another show. Bye.